it's me. Gosh, there's almost no delay today. Amazing. Amazing. So, how is everyone? Can't decide if it's trying to rain or not here today. We had a nice day yesterday, and today it's kind of grey. It tried to rain for about 30 seconds just now. So yes. Anyway, I'm just prepping a new stamp set. It's the Garden Birdhouses, which is so sweet, and I thought I would bring it out and give it a little whirl. So let me know that you have jumped on. I have a poll waiting to go up, so I may not... Oh, I can see you. I can see Audrey's there. I can see Claire's there. Oh, Nikki's there. All sorts of people have jumped on already. Morning, V. So I'm guessing, V, you're in the US because it's afternoon here, and I would imagine it's late evening, if not night, in Australia. So, yes. Nice new stamp set. I like breaking out a new stamp set. Hello, Deborah from Michigan. This is the stamp set we're going to use. So I'm really excited to use this because it's so cute. So cute. I think I might even be doing my thank you cards with this month. Haven't decided yet, but I think I might. So let's remember things. Free shipping today. Wherever you are in the world, there is free shipping today. Hello, Suzanne. So I can only talk about the UK values, although I think I know the US values. So for the UK, your order needs to be at least £35 before shipping, and in the US I think it's $50. Morning Belinda, morning Priscilla. So yes, today is the day. You know, you always forget to order dimensionals and adhesive and the kit that you thought you really would like, but you keep forgetting to add. Today's the day to get it. Get 2 of the new kits, of the new stamping kits, and you will have, certainly in the UK, hit your minimum quantity for free shipping. Please don't miss out on it, because it's epic. And I know it's probably more epic. Hello, Pam. I think it's probably more epic outside of Europe, because in Europe we have a set postage charge, shipping charge. Certainly for standard, we've now got expedited. Whoa! Haven't used it yet because it's very expensive. But yeah, we have a standard shipping rate, and I think in North America it's done on value, and in South Pacific it's done on weight, but I don't know. So yes, I think the UK or Europe is probably the least excited by free shipping. And trust me when I say we're excited. Hello, Nora. So yes, there's lots of exciting stuff going on at the moment. So what else can I tell you? We've got a DSP sale coming up. Don't know what's in it yet. That's next month. We've got, if you're a demonstrator, a new catalogue. So we have already had a sneak peek of the new, they're calling it January, but it's actually January mini catalogue, what I will always call the autumn-winter. Sorry, those of you in the southern hemisphere. For me, it will always be the autumn-winter catalogue. Just got this birdhouse set, so happy. Oh, brilliant timing, Nikki. So, yes, mini catalogue, and our second celebration of the year, because we had 2 months of celebration earlier in the year, and we've got another 2 months of celebration in August and September, and it's going to be epic. I went through the new brochure and the new mini catalogue last night with some of my team, and the celebration in particular is epic. So clever. Just have a quick sip of water. Let's just say there are some designer series papers and things that go with both annual catalogue and new mini catalogue items. And if you get, so there's one stamp set and punch bundle which has matching, no, there's two stamp set and punch bundles that have matching paper, and the qualifying amount for each of those is only slightly more than the bundle price. So all you need to do is add one thing, probably note cards or something more, and you can get your free item. It's so clever. I've already drawn up my wish list, and that's just my short wish list. Anyhow, let's go down to have a look at this, and then I'm going to put up my poll for, and this is for everyone. This isn't just for demonstrators, because you can still be excited by things even if you haven't seen them. So I'm going to have a poll on, are you more excited about the new mini or a second celebration? And you get the choice of the mini, the celebration, or both equally. So let me pop that up, and that will keep you busy for a while whilst we get started. So I've got a little bit of prep done. For once in my life, I've done a little bit of prep. So I've got a standard card mat, a standard long thin folding at the top card base, and I've got this which I've die cut with the edge of the edge piece in the scalloped contour dies. So it's this piece, and it's from the I still haven't got the names of the new papers. The Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper, which is gorgeous. I'm using it for my second card today as well. So I've used this piece. This is the offcut, which is one of these pieces where you just have to cut the card base and you've got a card, basically. I mean, it's just, you know, right way up would be kind of good, but so yes, I love this paper. I thought I was going to hate it, and I love it. This is great for little border strips. Showing you upside down makes it so much better. But yeah, nice wood grain, and yes, it's just, there's a sky, there's all sorts. I'll be using this piece in a moment. So wonderful papers. Interesting colour scheme. It is Bumblebee, Cajun Craze, Cinnamon Cider, Early Espresso, Merry Mellow, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Old Olive, and it's on a white base. So, as I say, quite an interesting, earthy, what's the word I'm looking for? Colour palette. Let's have a look. What have we got? So we've got, half of you think Celebration, 17% think the mini catalogue, and so far 33% like both equally. Only 6 of you have voted so far. I'm going to leave it there for a while. I just thought it would be fun to have a quick look. So card base obviously can wait for a while. This is what I'm going to work on to begin with. There are 2 basic ways of having your birdhouse. You can have it on a stick, or you can have it hanging from a branch. So I'm going to do hanging from a branch for this one, and then for the other one I'm going to do sitting on a stick. So the first thing I need, I was going to say obviously, maybe it's not, maybe it's just me that thinks it's obvious. First thing I'm going to need is my branch. So let's get my eye block. Oh, I know what I want to ask you. So Pam, who is one of my team, and she's fairly new to Stamping and Stamping Up, she's just got all of the blocks and the case, and she was asking on the call last night, you know when you get the case for your blocks, any of you who've got it, you get all those bits of bungee that you pull out to put your blocks in. Ideas for using those bits of bungee, because it seems such a waste to throw them away. I mean, we've given a few suggestions, mostly stick things in it, like your take your pick, and use it instead of a piercing mat, because the piercing mat's quite firm bunge as well. So any thoughts, please share. So I'm going to use Memento. I have used a good eraser over all of the stamps. I'm still going to stamp it first, but I always have a white, what I call a good white eraser. to take the finish off, or if there is a finish on the stamps, because sometimes there is. And I should of course be using my piercing mat, so let's get that out, although it is stamping quite nicely. So I'm going to pop that, I'm going to fold this piece of paper, it's a shipping thing, fold this and pop it on there with my card and ink that up. Now I'm going to go quite far up because I want obviously room for my hanging birdhouse. So no ideas of what to do with the bunch. So I thought sticking things in it would be quite good. And the large, because obviously if you've got the big one, you've got that really large piece of bunch. Now I'm thinking I need to have this bit here. Oh, I could hang it from there, couldn't I? No, I could hang it from there. I was thinking I need to have it reasonably across, but I don't have to. So I'm going to go there. One of the joys of branches is you don't have to worry about whether they're straight, because they kind of don't need to be. And how brave am I? I'm wearing a basically white sweater top with black ink. Is that brave or stupid? It must be one or the other, and I don't know which. Okay, so to build this up, because it's a kind of building set, I need the little hangy down bit and the birdhouse, and I will use some birds in a moment. So I'm going to pop my little hangy down bit on my B block. To be or not to be. Oh, both equally is now 50%. So that is in the lead at the moment. Right, so again I'm going to use my tuxedo black. This is the little hangy hook. Now this kind of does need to be straight. Concentration, tongue sticks out. That looks straight, hurrah, hurrah. And then while we're at it, let's add our birdhouse, which I'm going to overlap the little round bit at the end of the string. Morning, Marlene from a rainy Wisconsin. Oh dear, that's not good. We've had about 5 spots of rain about 2 minutes before I went live. So that's our basic. I will be adding more bits because we're going to need some plants. Actually, I might as well add those now. I've got a cat sitting outside the window, so if you hear any mewing in a moment, you'll know why. It's a lovely little set, Pam. So I've got 2 bits of kind of wildflower undergrowth. Let's change my blocks a bit. So clean that because I will not use that anymore. And I'll pop that on there. And I won't need the house anymore because my next one will be on a stick, so needs to be one of the other houses. Probably don't need that, but I'll leave that for the moment. Okay, so let's get... we don't think we need any extra leaves. I'm going to grab my little baby block. Hi, Jenny. And at least start thinking about birds. I'll pop some on the outside of my case so I know I've got to think about them. Right, so black again. I'm not going to go mad at the bottom, but I think a little bit of undergrowth would not be a bad idea. Now I am going to remember that I've got this coming in, but I'm not going to have I'm going to be kind of going into that space. I don't want it what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to worry about not stamping in that area because I'm happy for it to overlap, I think is what I'm trying to say, but my brain has gone. Don't mind this overlapping either because plants do. And then we'll have... I can have that there. Then that almost looks like the flowers there. Now there is a tiny little bit of grass hello Sandra. I missed Sandra joining from Perth, Chile. Ooh. It's 10:15. Wow. Well, good of you to join, because 10:15 is past my bedtime. And I'm just going to add some grass as well. Let's move that so I can know where it is. And then I'm going to add another floral, because otherwise it looks like I've forgotten that I had flowers. There we are. But I do like a bit of a difference somewhere. Right, okay. I am going to do a quick clean-up. I will be using some of these again, but for the moment I'm just going to clean them so I don't put my white jumper onto dirty stamps. Right, okay, so now I'm going to start colouring. The colours I read out. So we've got cinnamon cider, we've got Cajun craze. Not saying I'm going to use these, but we have. I thought I'd bring in some pink because I can. That's the pink, polished pink. And then we've got Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight, so we can have those if we want them, probably won't. Then I've also got Crumb Cake and a range of greens. So I've got Granny Apple Green, which I thought I might use for the grass, but I've also got Old Olive, and actually I think I might use Old Olive. And I've also got Mossy Meadow, because Mossy Meadow is one of the colours. Again, probably won't use it. But definitely got the 2 Old Olives. Right, so I'm going to start at the bottom. Just some rough addition of colour. So I'm literally just, I'm not colouring in, I'm just adding some colour. Just so there's a bit of a kind of green base. It's going on to Mossy Meadow, so you know, I just don't want white bang next door to Mossy Meadow. I think it'll look too hard. Hello, Margaret. And then just add some green to where the leaves are. Now, obviously, with Bumblebee being one of the colours, you could add one of the yellows for the flowers, but we don't have Bumblebee blends as... No, we do. No, we don't. No, I'm thinking of Pale Papaya. Yes, last year we didn't have all of the colours, the in colours in blends. This year we do, happily. So just a bit of green there, and I'm also going to put in some green up here, but I will come in with the dark Old Olive as well. So I'm just putting some colour, but it's a sketch, so you don't need to A, keep inside the lines, in my view, or B, worry too much about whether you've coloured everything. It's one of those leaps of faith, I think, if it's a sketch, to not worry about staying inside the lines. If an artist does it, everyone thinks it's perfect. If we do it, we stress. So I'm not going to. I'm going to scribble. And I'm not going to go mad. I'm not going to have, you know, scribbles over here, but a little bit of following the feel of the stamp set by not worrying too much if it's sketchy in every sense of that. And again, I'll add a little bit of the dark down here. I'm not going to go mad with the dark because I don't want the dark to take over. I'm just going to add some, not quite crosses, but close to crosses. So that is what I have done so far. Actually, there's a bit there that I do want to just fill in a bit. But can you see I've not stayed inside the lines? It's fine. You don't need to. So that is that. Right, I'm going to go with dark Crumb Cake for the branch, mostly because I don't want the branch to take over. I want the branch to just be so I don't want it to be too in your face, and I think cinnamon cider might be, and again I'm being sketchy, so I'm not worrying about staying inside the lines. Now then there's the decision over what colour do I do the birdhouse, because I could just go for brown or I could add other colour, and I'm almost thinking I could go whitewash. So no, don't want those ones, want those ones. So I've pulled, actually no, not that. Indecisive me, never. Right, so I've got Pool Party and Seaside Spray, Seaside Foam, Soft Sea Foam. Seaside Spray was a colour. It's no longer with us. So I'm going really kind of whitewash. So with just the lights, I'm going to add a bit of colour, but not a huge amount. Again, it's sketchy. It's allowed to be sketchy. But by adding a bit of colour, it gives more options elsewhere. Oh, actually I want a bit there. And then the light soft sea foam. So this is going to be very subtle. This is probably one for when I put it on my website. You can have a better look at it. So this will go up. It's going to be next week now because I'm posted up until, I can't believe it, Tuesday next week. I had a real blitz. So it is very, very pale. It's just not white. What I might do is just bring in, let's see how dark, a little bit of crumb cake light, just to kind of emphasize that it is wood and almost to act as the shadow, just to give a little bit more definition. And as I say, this is going to be really subtle and really sketchy. So subtle and sketchy. Right, and then just a little bit of colour for our flowers. And again, just want to test that. I think that's going to be too much. So I'm going to take that out and I'm going to bring in So Saffron, because the pink is too pink for this one. And again, I think I might go light to begin with. And sketchy. So I am just scribbling. I will come over with some dark So Saffron as well, but I am just adding some scribbles of colour. What you do need to make sure of, and I know I say this pretty much every time, is make sure your memento is fully dry first, because otherwise it will smudge, and we do not want smudging. Oh, and I've got an exciting Simple Stamping Saturday coming up. I'm using the Bamboo Beauty, I think it's the Bamboo Beauty. So let's see how we're doing on our poll. We are mostly either, well, 41% celebration, 47 equally on both, and only 12% are only interested in the mini, and that's on 17 votes. Whew. Interesting. Right, so that is our basic card. We're going to need a sentiment, we're going to need some birds. So let me pull that off there and bring in some birds. We have 3 to choose from. They're all kind of city perchy birds. That one is the one that I think might possibly go up there. So unless you want to get heavily involved in masking, adding birds to your birdhouses will be a fiddle. That's not to say impossible, but it will be a fiddle. But you could have them, say, in the tree. So I'm going to have one in the tree up here. Could have one possibly. Let's have a look. Where's it gone? It's that one. Yep, that can go on the roof. So let's do that. They're so little, she says, throwing one of the stamps across the room. Oh, you've had 4 crafty people over for lunch in the garden. Yay! Wonderful, Judith. So I'm going to have my little bird on the roof. It's almost on the roof. And then we can colour those in and build the card. And remember, Judith, you're never late. You can always watch on catch up. I'm going to go a little darker with the birds, just so that they stand out a bit. But again, I'm not going to go mad with them. So a bit of light cinnamon cider. So this is the garden birdhouses that we're using, Judith. You can probably see that in the information on my YouTube channel, but just in case. So they're going to be what Bill Oddie, who is possibly not known overseas, but he's a great bird watcher, twitcher, he would call an LBJ, a little brown job. You know, sparrows and dunnocks and things like that you know are brown, and that's about the only thing you can tell. So very subtle whitewash colouring on the birdhouse, scribbles elsewhere, and then the birds standing out. Now we need to think about a sentiment. I'm thinking hello. I'm thinking hello, possibly. Will that fit just there? I think it will. Up there. So, am I going to put it up the top or there? I think I'm going to put it there. Oh, actually, no, I know where I'm going to put it. I know where I'm going to put it. I need a scrap of white, one scrap of white, and that. And I'm going to pull, I'm thinking I might pull Mossy Meadow. Thank you, Judith. So let's just check. Shows how long it is since I've used it. It needs re-inking. It'll be fine. Let's just try that on a scrap. Yep. I can get that properly inked on the bits that aren't uninked. And I'm only going on a scrap anyway, so it's fine. I don't know why I'm trying to get it straight, because I'm going to use a punch. So, hello! And, dum, 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 where are you? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Where are you? There you are! The tailored tag. Love a tailored tag. So, is this going to do what I want it to do? It is! Marvellous! So, okay, we can build. Ooh, in fact, just had another thought. Again, loving a punch. Yep, that'll do. That will be big enough. I've got a scrap of Mossy Meadow. And my tag punch. Right, okay, we're ready to rock and roll. Card base. And I will be putting a liner in it. There's a shock for everyone. Hello, Margaret. Doesn't seem to matter how often I put things away. They're never where they are, where they're meant to be when I look for them. Somewhere on my desk, I have buried, there it is, my bone folder. Right, okay, and I need a piece of card for the inside. One piece of card for the inside. Let's pop that there so I know where it is. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my edge piece. I'm going to be trimming it down probably. I'm going to attach my edge piece, well, definitely going to be trimming it down because I want it to then end up the same size as the piece of card. So to do this, I'm going to grab my seal and run a piece of seal all the way down to the bottom and just make sure I've got that all the way down, and then I can come in with my edge piece and if I have that straight and this straight, then I should end up with everything being straight. Still needs trimming, but at least it's the scallop is kind of straight-ish. It went into the die cut machine, the cutting machine straight. So with luck, it will have been cut straight. And I'm just going to, you could use your trimmer for this, but I'm quite happy to use my scissors. And I just run up the edge of the card, so I push the card against the top blade. And then the bottom blade just does what it needs to do. So I don't even think about the bottom blade, I just concentrate on this top blade. Like that. So that's going to go on there. Then we're going to have our hello coming in there, but with Mossy Meadow coming out behind it. And because we're going on to Mossy Meadow, the fact that it's going to be, this bit's going to finish sooner doesn't matter. So let's just get some seal on my Mossy Meadow. And I will show it to you not on the dark background of the card in a moment. So that's what we've got. And then this I'm going to pop, now shall I pop it up? I might actually put it up there. Yes, it's better up there, it looks a bit lost down here. So we'll have it up there. On dimensionals. Yes, we're going for dimensionals. We are one-dimensional to three-dimensionals will be all we need. And then we just need to do the inside of the card and pop this onto the card base, and we are done with our first card. So again, I'm going to kind of have everything more or less lined up straight so that I can have some idea of where this is going to go. So it is more or less straight. I want it to be a bit, that's better, like that. And then again I'm going to trim off the back. Like that. So there's our hello. Just need to attach to the card base, then I will do my inside, and then it will be complete. Come on, work, thank you. Bit in the middle, just for good luck. thank you, Suzanne. The scallop is great. I keep forgetting it's there. I mean, as in, I keep forgetting that there is a really nice scallop. And I'm even going to resist the temptation of putting any other embellishment on. So it's going to be a really, you know, what it is card. Right, and then for this, all I'm going to do is bring in my scrap, and I'm going to clean off my branch, because I'm going to use, as I've already introduced it, I'm going to use Mossy Meadow on the inside. Which, bearing in mind it needs re-inking, might be interesting, but hey-ho, I don't need much of it on the inside. So, I've really inked up the block rather than the stamp. Didn't want that to happen. I'm just taking off some ink off a bit that went over the edge, because I don't want it to suddenly be loud. There we go. So just a bit of greenery up in the top corner. So what I was concerned about, let's see if I can reproduce this with a scrap. Where's that piece of... Have I buried it? No, let's use something from the bin. That'll do. Right, so up here, what I did was... Let's ink it up better. What I did was effectively stamp over the edge with part of my stamp. So let's see if I can replicate it. So here, I'm hoping you can see, I've got more ink than everywhere else. So if I then come in second generation, I'm going to have a very obvious line on my leaves. And that was what I was trying to avoid, just by touching the stamp to the bit of paper. So, right, let's throw that back in the bin whence it came and pop this on the inside, and then that's one card done. And then the other one's actually got a much smaller opening, or white space, literally, because again I've used the same die set with one of the rectangles, one of the scalloped rectangles, and again we'll be using DSP from the same pack, but a very different piece of DSP. Hello. Ooh. Now if you hadn't got an E on the end, I'd say that's Cheryl. Is that right? Anyway, from Florida. Now, while I remember, because some of you are new names to me, if you don't already subscribe, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and of course if you enjoy the video, do remember to give it a thumbs up. So that's our first card. Let me just clean off the Mossy Meadow from there, because I do not want Mossy Meadow all over my new jumper. Don't do crafting in a white, basically white jumper. It's not clever. Not if you want it to stay white. Wasn't there some... What, didn't a building fall over or something in Florida recently, or am I imagining it? Maybe I'm imagining it. I'm sure there was something that happened. I want to say in Miami, which I know isn't Northwest Florida, but did I catch something on the news that said there was some disaster that happened in Florida? Right, okay, so my next card is going to be a bit brighter. So we've got a piece of the Designer Series paper, a piece of Mossy Meadow. Last night, I thought I'd heard something. So I hope everyone's all right. I'm going to put this on here to start with, because it's got to go there anyway. But yeah, I hate it when we hear about these awful things across the world. I mean, not that we aren't hearing about awful things across the world mostly a building collapse. That's what I thought. I think it was in Miami, which, as I say, is, I know, not northwest Florida, but even so. So I've got a very narrow margin, so really the mossy meadow is there just so that there is something between the paper and the card base, and I'm going to be using cinnamon cider for the card base. So already we're in a much brighter, although still earthy, colour palette. And this one is going to be a standing up on a stick birdhouse. So let's get our standing up on a stick birdhouses. One stick, one birdhouse. Pom pom pom. I think we'll use a D block for the stick. Actually, I'm going to pop it down and pick it up with the block. Because this is straight and I don't want it to get bent, I'm going to leave it to relax and pick it up rather than putting it on. So if I put it on manually, I could end up with it bent. Does that make sense? I mean, I've exaggerated the bend, but you can. Whereas if you want it straight, leave it to relax on your surface for a while, and it doesn't take long. Just, you know, make sure it's not stuck and then pick it up. The birdhouse doesn't need that same treatment because it's solid. So this is my card that I'm going to use. I'm going to build this from the top down again because I want my birdhouse to be in a place, and I don't mind where my stick is particularly. So my birdhouse is going to go here. So I need some ink. And we're going to go with more colour on this one, so it's going to be not whitewashed. Don't know what colour it's going to be yet, but you know, we'll worry about that in a moment. Actually, I don't want it to be central. I'm going to put it slightly to the left. I have an issue with central. I think it looks too forced. It's probably just one of my little quirks, but you know. Now this stick has two, I was going to say two ends, that's pretty obvious, but it does have two ends. But this, as you can see on the front of the stamp case, gives you a shadow, so you really want that at the top. And I am actually going to bring in my piercing mat for this because it's, I want it to be definite, and sometimes the smaller images aren't. And I know I'm going to go off the base. If you don't want to go off the base, actually let's do it not off the base. So if you want to keep everything within the stitched shape, all you have to do is pop a post-it, or other sticky notes are available, note onto your scallop, your stitching rather. And I'm going to have this so that the top of the stick actually overlaps the bottom of the birdhouse. It won't, I mean, as you can see, it's beautifully lined up, but to get it lined up, you need your stamp to be, they need to overlap. And then I can remove that, and I no longer have any issue with it being longer than I want it. As I say, other sticky notes are available. So that is our birdhouse. I can still have some greenery at the bottom. And let's stick that there. And then I'm going to get another post-it note, which I've been using for something else. Sorry about this clash, it's going to be horrible. Just added this to your order. My job is done. Call me an enabler. So I'm just going to add these so that I can overlap my images a little bit, because we're going back to our flowers and greenery, and a little bit further up. again, I don't want them coming, I want the contour, the scallop edge rather, to be, there's a bit of ink there. So all you need to do if you get ink in the wrong place is stamp over it. I was going to be stamping over it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Right, and we'll have a single. I'll have that coming up a little higher. So that's going to be as if the bird seed has dropped down. Not that it's a feeder, but you know what I mean. There always seems to be more growth underneath birdhouses and things like that, where the seeds have been dropped. And then just our little grass. Just to fill in the gap. Now you could of course leave that clear and have lots of birds down there, but that's not the look I'm going for. And then if we remove these, we have our frame. Now for the colouring, you either want to leave these in place or just be very careful where you're going with your colour. So I'm going to do the latter. She says, famous last words. And this time I am going to go Granny Apple Green. So this is the light one, she says, double checking. So for this, to make sure that your colour doesn't go over the stitch marks, because that's the look I'm going for, you want to start with your blend, or you could use Stampin' Right markers. You want to start with it where you want it to finish, if you see what I mean, rather than coming down where you'll have less control. So just a little bit of green and then a touch more for some dimension. And this is really very small amounts, because the dark Granny Apple Green can end up taking over, which I don't want. So that's, oh, apart from the leaves I will have in dark Granny Apple Green. But again, we're looking at sketch, so it doesn't matter too much where you go. Which I'll have a bit there, just so that that looks a bit more mint. And this time I am going to go polished pink for my flowers. So as I say, a bit more colour, and just be aware we're going onto an orangey base. So I'm not going to go mad with this, and it does dry back a bit because it starts off looking a little neon. Right, birdhouse. So I'm going to grab my dark cinnamon cider, and I am going to colour over the stamped bit because otherwise it looks odd. And then I'm going to bring in the light cinnamon cider to just carry that down like that. And I think we're going to stick pretty much with cinnamon cider, not completely but some. So this is light cinnamon cider. Now, having said that this is a sketch, for this, because it's quite a large image, I wouldn't be looking to go outside the lines. Don't mind it for the bits down here, but for this, not so happy. Right, so we'll go there. I'm going to come in with the dark in a minute for the roof. And I think we'll have a little porch. I love the fact this has got a porch. And the base. And then if I come in with the dark cinnamon cider, I can add a bit of shadow. You don't necessarily want it to be completely solid shadow, This again is where I would go sketchy. So that's what I've done so far. So very little in the way of shadow, but just enough. Right, okay, let's be brave. How dark is this? Quite dark. Which tend to suggest that this is going to be darker. Did I say Night of Navy was in here? Yes. So let's grab Night of Navy as well. I have to say I am one of those people that if you've got them, why not use them? And you can slowly build up your collection. So I think I'm going to use the two lights. This is going to be it's going to be dark. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Am I convincing you? Because I'm not convincing me. Which one is darker? They're a slightly different colour, that's the thing. Since I want the blue. I want to bring in that blue. The other option is to go Cajun Craze, of course. Aren't you pleased that I planned this? Not. No, that's too similar. No, we're going to go blue. We're going blue. We're going in for the blue. It will fade back a bit. Ooh, I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I can bring in balmy blue. So this is dark balmy blue, which will blend quite nicely into the light misty moonlight. So we'll get our colour, but without too much, yeah, it is balmy blue, without too much colour. So it just lifts it a bit, and it then means that can be shadow, and I can then have more of the balmy blue on the front. That's going to be in shadow, but we'll colour it. So that's all balmy blue, and then we'll have some misty moonlight just shadowing, and again we'll be shadowing here. One of the things I love about blends is that you can actually lift colour off with the colour. Let me see on the blues, it looks weathered. That's the general idea, because let's face it, oh, that's Night of Navy, not the one I wanted to pick up. I wanted this one. A birdhouse is never going to be, yes, this is balmy blue, is never going to be anything but a bit weathered. And this is the light, and obviously I'm using the brush end because this will get a lot of the lighter ink on it, which will help make it weathered. So it's definitely blue, but definitely weathered. Right, so we need some birds because it's a birdhouse. So which ones have I got out? I don't need my grass. That can go on a standby block. So we've got got this little one. which isn't going to fit there. I wonder, bear with me one moment, caller. Right, okay, so we're going to do a bit of fudging. I like a bit of fudging. So I've got the dangly bit from the first one, and what I'm going to do, because I want some birds, and I've not left myself enough room. I should have left more room at the top. So what I am going to do is grab my trusty other sticky notes are available. Got a bit of fluff on it, and I'm going to introduce a perch. But I might even have two. I'm definitely going to have one there. And we'll have one over here. I'll make this one a shorter perch, but it will help balance out the fact that I've introduced perches. And dark crumb cake. Oh no, we were going cinnamon cider, weren't we? So light cinnamon cider, just so that these start looking like wood. Just a bit of a sketch round them, and then we can use our birds because we've got somewhere to put them. Talk about doing things on the fly, no pun intended. Yeah. 1, 2, where did I put my other bird? Oh, there he is. There's my bird. Right. So that one there. And this one over this side. Like that. And then I'm going to go again light cinnamon cider, because everything's going to be darker. If we have anything that's too light, it's going to look kind of weird. I'm still going to use some crumb cake, but I'm going to start with cinnamon cider, and then the dark crumb cake. Oh, I did cinnamon cider and crumb cake last time. Whoops. Let's add a bit of dark cinnamon cider. Because they've gone a bit too little brown jobby. And light cinnamon cider, so probably don't actually need the crumb cake, but it's fine. Right, okay, so this is going to go onto our card base. So this is going to go on there, like that. Not loving that pink. Not loving that pink. It's too pink. So a little bit of pale papaya just to calm it down a bit. Because pale papaya is that same kind of burnt umber base, but it will just help to calm that pink down a bit. Right, so sentiment, no sentiment. What have we got? I used hello. Oh, that would be fun. Sorry. This is my slightly weird humour. Well, not really, but welcome. If it fits, ooh, that will fit. So we've got two birds and they're saying welcome back. This is my justification. Or I could do, so I can either do welcome back, or I can do so glad you're here. Which do we think might fit better? So glad you're here might fit nicely up there or there. Or then again, there. I think I'm going to go so glad you're here as opposed to welcome back. I think welcome back may be too much because we've shrunk our card by having the die cut. So somewhere I must have something so I can use as a block. I've got stamps on blocks all over the place. So again, I'm going to pick it up with the block, and that's going to go there. And I think I'm going to bring in the misty moonlight just to help that blue be part of the card. Load, aim, fire. There we go. That will fade a little bit when it dries. And then we just need to put the card together. And I guess I ought to put something on the inside, because I put something on the inside for one. So I guess I ought to for the other. And I actually have, you know, complete cards. There's a shocker. That's white. So I'm going to bring in some of those flowers, and I'm going to stick with the tuxedo black. So just in the corner. And I don't think I'm going to bother colouring them. So that goes on the inside. Yes, that is the right side. This goes on the inside. And then we will be done. And 52% of you think both equally as far as which catalogue you're more excited about. I have to say, having seen them, and particularly having gone through them with the team last night, we've sort of picked out things that we hadn't all necessarily seen, which was nice, because I think sometimes you kind of miss things. And we were talking about how some things look initially as if they're kind of weird, and then you think, actually, that would work really well if we did whatever. So scribble of adhesive, don't need that. And again, I'm going to pop this up. Certainly from a UK point of view, you can get away with one layer of dimensionals with no embellishment on the dimensional layer as a standard letter from a postage point of view. So I don't mind using dimensionals in those circumstances, because otherwise the postage is ridiculously expensive. Cut all those off. Make sure the card is the right way up, which it is. And pop our... Oh yes, I much prefer the flowers not just in the polished pink, and there is our card. So we've got our two, so this one's very much more subtle, more in that sort of neutral, whereas this is a bit brighter, but again the only bright was the pink, so which I didn't like. If I was to do it again, I would do just the pale papaya. Oh sorry, yes, just the pale papaya. it's pale. I was thinking of light versus dark. So yes, there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed that little introduction to the garden birdhouses. Almost every single stamp has been used. Not quite, but jolly nearly, and some of them even for the purpose for which they were intended. So this is our stamp set. These are the cards. Now in the catalogue they've used, they have used, let me find it, they've used garden embossing on page 107. So, and some watercolour. So I'm guessing this is shimmer white. Thank you, Suzanne. And then this they've done with white embossing, which I have to say, not a fan. I like the basic idea, but I don't think I'd have used white for my embossing. I think I might have done any colour embossing. White just doesn't do it for me. But anyway, there you go. So thank you very much indeed for joining me. As I say, if you don't already subscribe, please do think about it. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I will not be here on Saturday. It is Simple Stamping Saturday is back on Saturday. So my next live will be Tuesday, 11 o'clock in the morning UK time. Lots of design team stuff and blog hops and all sorts of things coming up next week. So really exciting. And remember that next week is the end of the current mini, so the snail mail mini. That finishes on the last day of the month. And then we have a hiatus with no mini for July. So yeah, if there's anything in the mini that you want and it's still in stock in your region, today would be a really good day because it's free shipping. Okay, thank you very much indeed. I will see you again, hopefully, either next week or on Tuesday next week. See you soon.